Quantizing is a feature we've touched upon during several previous movie tutorials. However, quantizing is just as powerful as many of the other editing functions within Nuendo, so we'll spend the next few minutes taking an in-depth look at quantizing and all the great features it has to offer. Nuendo offers several methods by which you can quantize your MIDI data. There are four main rules that apply when using the quantize functions. First, you can quantize MIDI data directly from within the project editor. Second, you can quantize data from within any of the MIDI editors. Third, you can choose the option to auto-quantize the data immediately as it's being recorded. And fourth, the quantize value selected always applies to whichever quantize method you choose to use. The quantize functions are accessed in two different areas. First are the quantize functions located in the main MIDI menu. Here you have several ways to perform a quantization. Second is the quantization value, which is located in the toolbar of many of the editors. A simple drop-down list gives you a choice of various quantize values to choose from. Further enhancing these choices are two quantize editors that give you additional information and parameters to help fine-tune your end results. Now let's take a closer look at exactly how all these features work. Although the quantize options available are extensive, you'll find that it's very easy to use them. The easiest way to get going is to first choose a quantize value you want to use. Then simply highlight the MIDI event you want to quantize and choose Over Quantize from the MIDI menu. You can also press Q on your computer keyboard to make the process even easier. If you want to quantize only specific events, then open up the MIDI editor, highlight the events you want to quantize, and then perform the same steps. It's that easy. Just always remember that the quantize value you select in the main toolbar of your editor window always applies to whatever quantize method you choose to use. Of course, auto-quantizing is the easiest of them all, since it will automatically over-quantize any events that are recorded. This is enabled in the transport bar. Next are the various quantize methods. Iterative quantize is a method that performs a semi-perfect quantization. It slightly quantizes the MIDI events to the selected quantize value. This can help you avoid a more strict mechanical feeling to your MIDI parts. You can perform this as many times as you like until you get the notes to quantize to the feel you are looking for. You can set the amount that it quantizes each time within the quantize setup window, but we'll take a look at that editor in just a moment. The advanced menu gives you several unique methods for quantizing MIDI events. The quantize length options let you quantize the lengths of the events without affecting their position. This is very handy if you already have a MIDI sequence that has the right feeling, but you want to adjust the length of each note. Undo quantize simply allows you to undo the quantize you previously performed. This works similar to the global undo command. The freeze option allows you to freeze the last quantize edits you've made. This makes any quantization changes you've made permanent to the MIDI event. The parts to groove allows you to take the quantize feeling of a certain MIDI part and use that to quantize other MIDI events. It does this by creating a new quantize value that appears in your global list of choices. We'll actually talk about a similar version of this tool shortly. Next are the quantize setup windows. These are used to edit the quantize value presets that come with Nuendo. You have several options to work with in the editor. The grid type and swing options allow you to adjust the way your notes will move based on the grid. To make it easier to visualize this, you are provided with a grid display showing you how the notes are going to be moved. The magnetic area allows you to determine how close a note has to be to a grid point in order for it to be affected by the quantization. Other options such as the non-quantize, random quantize, and iterative quantize all offer powerful ways to help retain a bit of the human factor to your quantization and help keep it from sounding too rigid or sterile. If you happen to select a groove quantize preset, then the editor changes to reflect this and gives you several parameters to affect how the groove quantize preset will affect your MIDI events. Now that we have a good understanding of the main quantize functions, I'd like to take a moment to show you one of the more advanced features that I think you'll find to be very cool. We've talked about the groove quantize several times in this tutorial. If you remember, it gives you the ability to extract the groove or feel from a piece of MIDI and impose that same quantization groove over other events. However, you can also use it to extract the groove from an audio loop as well. So imagine for a second, you've programmed a drum beat via MIDI. It's cool, but not quite what you're looking for. It's lacking some soul and feel to it. But you do have some drum loops that do have the particular feeling you want. Well, the groove quantize function will allow you to extract that feeling from the drum loop and place it over your MIDI sequences. Let's try it out. Here I have a pretty simple, straightforward drum pattern that I've programmed. Again, it's cool, but it's a little too sterile for my tastes. So let's find a drum loop that has some funk and swing to it. There we go. This one might give us what we're looking for. So let's try this one out. I'll import the audio loop and place it into a track. Next, we open up the sample editor for this loop and we analyze it using the hit points. This is necessary in order for Nuendo to be able to understand and learn where the drum sounds are placed, which in turn helps it learn the groove or feeling of the beat. Now that we have our hit points created, I can create the groove quantize from this. Once you create it, you'll now have this groove quantize in your list of available quantize values. We'll go ahead and choose this one and apply it over our MIDI beat. There. Now let's take a listen to see if it's improved any. Yes, now that's got some funk to it. So in closing, we can see just how useful the quantization functions in Nuendo are. You are offered many basic and advanced functions to help correct or even experiment with the timing and groove of your MIDI sequence events. We've also learned that you can even use it to add more lifelike feeling to your MIDI sequences by using actual audio material. Whether you're arranging an orchestral piece or programming hard-hitting dance beats, quantizing will provide you with some extensive editing power for your MIDI sequencing with the Nuendo.